Hi everyone, Jim with CD Nova again, and today we're looking at the pdr1500 particulate monitor. I did a previous video on this unit and somebody asked if they could see how to download the data from this unit. So there is a software that comes that you can put on your laptop, and you can download the data and put it into a graph, save it into a data file, that sort of thing. So the icon for the pdr1500 looks like this. And you can get this off the Thermo Scientific library, and that's what the icon looks like once you've got it installed onto your computer. So pdrPort is the communication software for this pdr1500. So I'll just show you briefly what it looks like to connect the cable up. The cable that you get with this unit is has a square connector on this one end, and that will plug into this port here. There's a square connector port on the side of your pdr1500. I'll just simply pop that in there. The other cable, the other end of the cable I should say, looks like a basic USB type. So one end has got a square connector and the other is standard USB type cable. These are commonly known as a printer cable. Some of the printers today take these square connectors, and I'll simply plug the USB side of this cable into the side of my laptop, like so. So now I have my pdr1500 connected by this cable to my laptop right here. So from there I can come over to my pdrPort icon, and I can open up the software, and just simply by bringing my mouse up, and you can just double click on it, and this is what it looks like when it first opens up. So we have a small window, and it has at the top, it has File, Edit, View, Settings, Text, Graph, Help. And it has the serial connection. It's looking at COM5 on my computer. That's what it finds when I first opened it up. Then it says Show Instrument Panel. So I can look at this COM5. You can manually select your COM port if need be, but the one that pops up on my computer is COM5. That's the port that I've connected into. So it finds it right away. And that's the only thing I need to do with that serial connection window right here. From there I can just simply go Show Instrument Panel. If I click on that, it pops up a little panel which looks like the front of the pdr1500. Looks a bit like it. I'll back up, I'll try to get both in the frame here. Bit of glare on that. There. So if you look at both the pdr1500 and the software, it looks a bit similar. Where you can see there's the power button, there's the escape button, the up down arrows, and the enter button. So it's just like you're pressing the front of the pdr1500. So if I press the down arrow on here, simply click down, it actually changes on the pdr1500. So it says configure, configure, click down again, it says calibrate here, and vice versa. I can go over to the pdr1500 and I can press this down arrow. It says operate up here, hit it again, configure. So I'm communicating with my laptop right now through this cable. So if I hit escape, I'll take it back to the main screen. So from here you can just simply communicate through the software. And I can minimize this window. I can get on my minimize button. So at the top it has main, data text, data graph, configure instrument. So if I go main, and then data text. If I look at data text, it has a bunch of icons along the top here. The first one on the left says get new data from pdr1500. So this is where I would download the data. So if I click on that, it immediately downloads the data from this unit. So this is actual readings from the pdr1500 that are stored in the data logger. And each one of these are a tag, and each tag is a series of readings. So if I click on tag number 5, there's 225 sample readings in that file. I can click load down below, right here, or I can just double click on the highlighted line itself. So if I double click on that, it's downloading the data right here. You can see it. Pulls in all the records in that tag file, puts it up on the screen, and gives you a summary of the model number, serial number, tag number, start time, date, temperature, humidity, pressure, alarm levels. And if I scroll up on the side of this this window, I can see all the data. So if I scroll up, and I'll just take this all the way to the top so I see these top lines. So I have the record numbers here, the readings in micrograms per cubic meter, temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure, any flags, the time, and the date. So there's the data, there's the particulate data in this column right here, this micrograms per cubic meter. And I can go over to the slide bar, and I can pull this up a little further. I can look at all the data that I want to in that file. So that's how easy it is to communicate with this unit. I can scroll back up. So I can even graph this data. If you look at the top, there's a data graph feature. So if I click on data graph, and what it's showing here, you can see there's a green line, there's a blue here, and on the right there's a legend explaining what this is. The gray line is the microgram per cubic meter particulate. The red is temperature, blue is relative humidity, and green is pressure. So I can go up here in these icons, and you can see the colors. There's the green one. If I deselect it, it hides it, and it brings up just the blue and then the red. So if I just bring up the gray line, this is the particulate data graphed on the instrument right there. So now I can see all my graphed data, or I can go back and look at my text data just to the left and look back to this screen. So I can jump back and forth. Data graph, data text. If I go back to data graph and I want to see the temperature plotted against it, I'll just click on this icon here. And I'll put the red line is the temperature, about 24 degrees Celsius, all the way across all the data is plotted. And you can see it compresses the particulate data graph as I add more information. So if I show the relative humidity, and then I go ahead and show the pressure, it actually compresses it quite a bit. So if I deselect these other temperature, humidity lines, I just get the particulate line, and you can see it clearly what the data looks like. So that's data graph, data text, and I can save this file. I'll save as, and you can call it a text file. You can save it as a CSV file, which is quite common. So I can save it CSV file unit 05, and I can just click save into the pdrPort memory, and it's saved just like that. It's very simple to operate. You've got all these windows at the top, which is very similar. It's view, settings for your COM port, text, graph, and over here is file for get data, open from file. You can edit. So very simple to operate this unit. So I can go back to my main screen. When it first opens, there's my COM port 5. There's my instrument panel, which is down here. I minimized it. Let's bring it back up. There's my instrument panel. Let's just bring it to there. And again, this is just like talking to the front of the pdr1500. So I can go operate. So I can go escape. So enter to operate, start a run, enter again. So I can actually control the unit. So what I've just done is I've started a run, and there's the actual readings popping up. right here, which are the same as the readings that are showing right here. Get the glare off the screen. You know, 2.3, 2.2, 2, 1, and you can see it there. So very simple to operate. So what I'll do is I'll go escape to stop this run. It will ask me press enter if I want to stop the run. I'll click on enter. I can close this window. I can exit, go file, and then exit. And simply to start it again is just double click on the pdrPort icon. Opens up, gives me an error message, which is okay. On my unit it finds COM5 immediately. So if I see that, all I have to do is just simply go show instrument panel, and there it is. Now I know I'm talking to it. I can select the up down arrows thing. I can close the instrument panel, and then I can go and download the data. I can go up to data text, close that window. I can go up to my download, get data from pdr1500, click on that. It immediately finds all the files. I can just simply go and double click on one of the files, pulls up the data. You see it downloading right there. More data, the longer it will take. And then there it all is. There's the model number, serial number, relative humidity, any alarms. It shows me the inlet type is the total sample inlet, the flow rate, site name if you have a site name that you want to put in there, like landfill number 1. And then you can scroll up very simply and see all the data very quickly. Plug and play, very easy to operate. So again, that is the pdr1500. So this is the pdrPort. You can see it right there, pdrPort from Thermo Scientific. You can download this off the Thermo Scientific library. And looking back over, we have the cable connection, very simple USB cable connection to the side. And that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Thank you.